If you love movies and movie discussions, you've come to the right place. Who am I, you ask? I am the Wiz! And I'm here today to review the 1982 Star Trek film, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, starring William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, Kirstie Alley, and Ricardo Montalban, directed by Nicholas Meyer. This is the movie that I keep hearing from Star Trek fans that this is actually the best when it comes to the Star Trek movies. I guess that's good in some way. I guess I'm going to see a good movie, and another way it's, oh no, it goes down from here. So I'm am looking forward to it, but not looking forward to it at the same time. So let's get into it. Let's get into the review of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, directed by Nicholas Meyer. But before that, let's get into the plot. As Kirk, played by William Shatner, and Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy, monitor trainees at Starfleet Academy, another vessel from a United Federation of planets is about to try out the planet-creating Genesis device in a seemingly deserted portion of space. In the process, two of Kirk's officers are captured by Khan, played by Ricardo Montalban. Once again, Kirk takes the Enterprise's helm, where he meets Khan's ship in an intergalactic showdown. I guess the first thing I need to discuss when it comes to Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, is that the visuals in this film are just not as good as the first movie. The first movie actually was very good looking for its time, and I think still holds up when it comes to the visuals, just the way that certain things in the movie looks. But unlike the first movie, everything else is an improvement. Drastically an improvement. I think this is compared to Harry Potter. In Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, I thought was a bad movie, but then after that had their best movie, which is Prisoner of Azkaban. And this is very similar to that jump in quality, where I think the last movie was not good, but this one is actually really good. I was incredibly surprised how much I enjoyed this. One thing that is very clear is that there is a definitive story and plot in this movie. The first movie just kind of went a little bit nowhere, and it was trying to do something, I think, a little more deeper than it meant to. It just didn't work. This one is very clear what it's about. Khan is back. He wants to kill Kirk, and Kirk has to stop him. And things happen, and that's all you need to know to get into the plot. And I think that was very well done in this. Yeah, the plot is very exciting. It's entertaining. It's also funny in spots. Like, it is an incredibly well-rounded movie when it comes to what the movie is. Like, the first movie just was boring, which I thought was weird. Because on the one hand, I was looking at the film going, I don't understand what people like about this, because this is very boring. It's very technical. And I guess I can see it that way. But otherwise, like, everyone seemed very lifeless. But in this movie, the characters actually have a personality. Oh my god, like, this was the other thing that surprised me. Oh, okay, now I see why Kirk is so beloved. Oh, I see why people love Spock. In the first movie, I was watching this going, these people are boring. What the hell's going on? But in this movie, like, Kirk is funny. Spock is charming in his way. Bones is funny, too. Bones was kind of funny in the first one, too. But there was definite personalities throughout the entire film that made me really want to invest in these characters. And that's where I started to realize why people love Star Trek, because of the characters. I think the ones I need to point out are the best here are, I would honestly say Spock is actually really good in this. Leonard Nimoy, I think he was very good. I actually really like Kirk in this as well. I think Shatner was funny in certain spots in this. I also like Kirstie Alley. I was surprised how good she was. But really, the film belongs to Ricardo Montalban as Khan. Like, he is a great villain in this movie. He's kind of corny in some spots, but I thought that he was very entertaining, and I really liked what he was doing in the film. He was just a captivating villain as well. I think the way they wrote Khan in this as someone who is supremely intelligent and yet has this one fatal flaw is very interesting in that. But yeah, like, I think the one thing that really caught me off guard, and I did not know this about the ending in this movie. Like, the ending, holy hell, the ending hit hard. Surprisingly hits hard. I did not know what happened at the end of this film. Like, again, I have never been a Star Trek fan. I have never cared about Star Trek. And then when that ending happened with Spock, I was like, oh my god. Like, and I'm not even invested in these characters, and this was such a hard-hitting ending. Like, I cried a little. This was so sad. I was like, oh my god, what happened? Oh, this is a lot. I gotta say, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, made me realize exactly why people love Star Trek. It's the characters. Even though it seems very technical and jargony, there's a definite human element to these movies. I gotta say, I really enjoyed Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I'm actually looking forward to the next few movies, even though I've heard they're not that great. But I, again, will definitely check them out, and hopefully will enjoy them. So overall, I'm going to definitely recommend Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. In fact, I will say this. If you're going to start watching the Star Trek movies, start with this one. This should have been the first movie. This was great. I thought this was a highly enjoyable movie. It had the right mix of action, suspense, humor, drama. It had everything that I think makes a great movie. Again, performances, Shatner is great. I think Nimoy is great as Spock. Surprisingly like Kirstie Alley, but I really liked Montalban in this. I thought he was really good as Khan. And then that ending really hit hard. I thought that was a really good ending. If the Star Trek films are more like this, I think I'm going to start really enjoying these movies. Something I thought I would never say. I always look to Star Trek and go, I don't know. But now I'm starting to get why people like this series. So overall, I'm going to recommend Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. It's on Paramount Plus. Check it out wherever else you can rent it. Now, if you want my full review on this movie, you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. You'll have my full written review right on the site, along with a link to the video that has this review that you've just listened to. All right, so for Tuesday, I'll be reviewing The Hustler, directed by Robert Rossen. Thursday, me and Zero are going to review Gran Turismo, directed by Neil Blomkamp. And on Saturday, I'm continuing the Star Trek movies with Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, directed by Leonard Nimoy? Really? I didn't know he directed. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll be interested in seeing how that turns out. So, on Tuesday, I'll be reviewing The Hustler, directed by Robert Rossen. Thursday, Gran Turismo with Zero, directed by Neil Blomkamp. And Saturday, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, directed by Leonard Nimoy. I am The Wiz, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.